What's up, guys? Welcome back to Pro Sports Room.
Boy. I thought that's what you were about to do.
Boy, we
Welcome
are
back.
so glad to have you back.
Thought you were going to get roasted, but you're lucky.
We are so glad to have you guys back. Welcome to another edition of 2-Minute Drill.
Two-minute drill.
2-Minute Drill.
2-minute drill.
If you're brand new, you've never watched us before, make sure that you hit that subscribe button. We greatly appreciate that. We love, having new people on.
Yeah, man. Coming off of a great week, by the way.
We've had over 50 plus people in the last, 5 days hop on and like our Facebook page.
Yep, and we've had plenty of people being active on our page.
Yes, we've got lots of topics that have been going on the Facebook page, and that's transpiring to the YouTube page. So we want to thank you guys very much for tuning in, and we got some great topics that we're going to jump into. So let's just go ahead and get started. D Rose just tore his meniscus and is out for the rest of the season.
Again.
Well,
This is not the first time.
Right.
Believe it or not.
the only thing is that, granted, he only had, a couple games left with this season. No big deal. But it's still another season-ending injury. Is he done? Is his career done, I guess you could say?
Obviously his career was done beginning last year.
Yeah.
To me, I didn't expect him to have a comeback player of the year in New York. I think that he will stay in the league a couple more years. I think some teams are going to waste a lot of money on him for no good reason. He's never going to be a bad player. I just think he's going to be way overpaid, and as far as being, talked about player, no, he's done.
I can just imagine Derrick Rose now kind of, getting cut, kind of, washing up on it on multiple different teams, kind of like a Lou Will.
Well,
Not saying Lou Will's washed up. I'm just saying Lou Will travels from team to team.
Yeah.
I could see, or a Vince Carter. I could see him just coming out, having a couple games where he drops 30, shows flashes of his old self.
Back?
Yeah, is D Rose back? Some of
And
those
then
old
he tears
flashes.
his knee out, unfortunately.
And then they just he'd be a great six man at this point, which is
Yeah,
basically what he could potentially be going forward to whatever team he goes to.
And I'm not a Meek Mill fan by any means, but I'm really worried for his fans because he can't say ball hard like D Rose anymore.
No, because he's hurt. So I think he's pretty much done though.
So yeah, we got that to look forward to, unfortunately.
Yep. It's about that time for the playoffs, and NBA playoffs, that is.
NBA playoffs.
And might as well talk about the playoff picture.
Might as well, because it's right around the corner.
Because in the East right now, we have Boston at 1, Cleveland at 2, Toronto at 3, Washington at 4, Milwaukee at 5, Atlanta at 6, Chicago at 7, Miami at 8, and then Indiana is tied with Miami right now, but Miami has a tiebreaker. Charlotte is 1 game behind Miami, and Detroit is 2 games behind Miami. So
yes.
The bottom of the East is still open.
Yep.
And honestly, the top of the East is still open because
Cleveland is 1 game behind.
Cleveland's 1 game behind, so they could easily jump up and get number 1. Toronto, I think, is only 2 or 3 games behind, so they could easily jump up and get to 1. Washington's 4 games behind, which that's a little bit harder to get for number 1, but it's still a possibility for them.
I think the East lineup's just basically going to stay the same. It's either going to be Boston or Cleveland.
Yeah, I don't think anything too dramatic is going to change in the East. Now in the West, it's Golden State at 1, San Antonio at 2, Houston at 3, Utah at 4, Clippers at 5, OKC at 6, Memphis at 7, Portland at 8, and Denver's 2 games behind Portland. We won't say who's going to win or anything like that. We'll get to that later. But who's your sleeper team in the East and in the West?
It's not really a sleeper team for the East because everybody expects them to be good, but Washington is going to blow up the playoffs, I believe.
Yep.
And in the West, I believe Utah is going to be a sleeper team.
I think in the East, Toronto was a very, very good sleeper team. They had a lot of hype last year, so I think that hype will bring into this year. And in the West, honestly, I just think if OKC plays Houston, I think OKC can win and they can go a little bit farther. So that's
And maybe Memphis. You never know.
never know. Hey, did you hear about Dre?
Yeah, he wants to bring the Olympics.
He wants to bring the Olympics to LA in 2024.
No, you don't bring it to LA. You bring it to Compton, Dr. Dre. we got enough. We got enough land in
So
Compton.
Dr. Dre wants to bring the Olympics to. He is a part of a committee
Yeah.
and is going to do what he can to bring the Olympics to LA. Do you think that's a good idea?
I do think it's a good idea. Why not? Who does not want to host the Olympics? It's kind of like, you host parties and it's kind of a chore, but the Olympics are just magical.
Yeah.
Who wouldn't want to host the Olympics?
I mean, it's cool because it's like, all right, cool, the Olympics are here in the United States, but like I won't even get into the political side of it because is it safe? Is it not safe? Then
It's not
just
safe in Rio.
Well, I know it's not safe anywhere, but I guess the point that I would get to is like, look at what happens after you host the World Cup.
What happens?
There's like all the money that they spent. Well, that's the other thing. I mean, I guess that wouldn't happen like here because all the stadiums are already built. You don't have to go out and build new stadiums. You don't have to find more manual labor because people are gonna do it anyways. I mean, it would be cool. I mean, it'd be cool to have the Olympics in 2024. Pro Sportsman would be, one of the guys who are out there live coveraging for.
Heck yeah.
We'll actually host
And we're
the
actually
Olympics in 2024.
We'll hold the torch. We'll light it.
We'll run with it too.
Yeah.
That's a long run. Never mind.
No, we'll do it. It's fine. And on the way, we're actually gonna leak Dr. Dre's album while we are running with the torch.
Yeah, it's still forgetting about Dre.
Yeah.
So I think Olympics
Poor
in
guy.
2024 in LA would be a good idea. I take it back.
Too.
All right,
Me too.
I think it's good. Welcome back to Wrestlemania, brother. If Hulk Hogan was there,
If Hulk Hogan wasn't there.
that's what he would have sounded like. But WrestleMania was in Orlando, which is just down the street
Down the street.
from us, and lo and behold, us sports fans,
A wild Gronk has appeared.
we usually don't watch, WrestleMania, but in the wild, Gronk came out
Sure did.
and threw the smackdown on some player or on some wrestler,
Player.
and I mean that, and then just yesterday or today, he was with Tom Brady for the opening pitch and stole Tom Brady's jersey and got tackled
And you know what?
by Tom Brady. Is he doing too much?
If he didn't have so many injury problems, he would not be doing too much.
That's what I was
He
gonna
has
say.
way too many injury problems to be doing this. Is his back fully healed? If it's not, why would you risk straining your back at all?
Even if
Because
it's not fully healed, you just
exactly,
got hurt.
Just got hurt.
Why would you go to WrestleMania, which
Exactly.
you're still encountering contact of some sort, no matter what anyone says about it, and you're you're just basically putting on a show. Like, I get it, you got to find something to do after football, but
Obviously, but
right now, as and people, someone's like, oh, you're just a salty Jets fan. No, it's just kind of like, look, I get he's in it for the money, but don't make it so obvious, because that's all it looks like he's doing right now.
and I'm a Gronk fan, and I think he's doing way too much. I think he had potential to be the greatest tight end of all time, honestly.
On the field, he's great. Off the field, he's just acting like a child, and it's getting him in trouble.
And on a side note, he's a lot smaller than I thought he was.
Doing too much, Gronk. Doing too much. Hear ye, hear ye. Tony Romo will now be sitting right here in the middle for a third Pro Sports Room.
That's right. He's gonna grow a beard.
He's gonna grow a beard,
Or we're gonna draw one on him.
and he will be sitting right here in a wheelchair, ready for him.
He sure will. Because he retired.
Here, instead of going to any other team in the NFL, he decided to retire, and he will be taking his talents to the TV booth.
Which, I get it. I think he made the right decision for himself,
And his family.
I get it. But part of me just wants to yell at him and say, listen, dude, if you go to a contender, a possible contender, like if you go to a Denver or a Houston or a Ram. Probably not. If you go to a team like that, you could very well
Win a Super Bowl.
for once in your career.
Win a playoff game for once in your career.
Hey, he's won one.
Oh, my bad.
I don't know. But yeah, because you make all this money in the NFL and you can be happy with all this money, but the ultimate goal is to win a Super Bowl. Some of them have the ultimate goals to win more than one Super Bowl. Tony, sadly, is not going to win one now.
Nope.
Which I feel he possibly could have won one if he would have. I feel he could have won one with Houston. He feels he could have won one with
Yeah,
Denver.
I think he could have won one with Denver. I mean, just all of the offensive and defensive weapons on that team, he would have easily won one in Denver. But I think it was too early for Tony Romo to retire. And now, I mean, if he comes out of retirement, he's still with Dallas. There's no way he's out of it. So
maybe that's a part of their plan.
yeah, if Dak gets hurt, he comes out of retirement.
Old Vinny Testaverde remake. All right, guys. Well, we hope you enjoyed this edition of the 2-Minute Drill, and we hope you've enjoyed everything we're doing on social media and YouTube. Just want to thank you for your support again. Had a good week. We're trying to capitalize on that, and we will see you next week.
Yeah, make sure you guys subscribe, follow the Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, all that. Make sure you guys follow it. It's all in the description box below.
Sure is.
We'll see you guys later.
Goodbye.